Mike Maccagnan is expected. The Jets have been extremely busy in free agency as the lead into the NFL draft. And when late April comes around, New York has great position at No. 3 to add another immediate impact player for next season, but with that high draft pick and the Jets already settled in the quarterback department, GM Mike Maccagnan will certainly be listening to phone calls to potentially make a trade to move down. The Jets will likely be looking for a defensive playmaker with that third overall selection, and though players like the Josh Allen and Nick Bosa are in the conversation in the top 3, there are still plenty more elite prospects to choose from. But if all signs point to the Cardinals selecting QB Kyler Murray first overall, the Jets would likely keep that number 3 pick to get either Allen or Bosa. So, with that in mind, here are a few quarterback-needy teams the Jets could trade with, and who they could take with their pick. Giants, No. 6 overall, Clelin Ferrell, Clemson. It's hard to see DT Quinn and Williams dropping this far, especially past the Raiders or Bucks, who both need help up front. Ferrell, though, is an edge rusher that has also seen much success in the SEC during his career at Clemson. Over the past 2 seasons, the 6'4", 264-pound Ferrell has totaled 21 sacks and 38 tackles for loss on his way to a national championship in 2018 as well. Ferrell has the size, speed, and most importantly, pass rushing technique with strong hands to get into the backfield. Broncos, No. 10 overall, LB Devin White, LSU. Yes, John Elway traded for veteran QB Joe Flacco, but he is on the last leg of his career and solidifying a quarterback for the future is once again on his agenda in Denver. Trading up with the Jets would make sense if he falls in love with Haskins, and wants to beat the Giants to him. Here the Dick Butkus award-winning White finds his way to Gang Green, and he can be plugged either inside or outside for the Jets. White dazzled at the combine with a 4.42 40-yard dash, 22 bench press reps, and a 39.5 vertical. He has totaled 133 and 123 tackles in 2017 and 2018 respectively, and has 7.5 sacks over those 2 seasons. White has everything the Jets want in a linebacker, and combining him with Avery Williamson and C.J. Mosley would be a fun group to watch. Dolphins, No. 13 overall, Deshaun Gary. The Dolphins have Ryan Fitzpatrick as their starter at the moment, and that may not fly unless Miami is going full tank mode. So giving the Jets a nice package could be their move to land a quarterback to compete with Fitz in training camp. Here, the Jets get Gary, who's believed to be a top 10 pick. Gary was highly touted coming out of Paramus Catholic High School in New Jersey, and though he didn't get the numbers he may have hoped for at Michigan, his ceiling is still said to be high. Gary totaled 3.5 sacks in 9 games last season after posting 5.5 in 2017. At 6'4", 277 pounds, defensive coordinator Greg Williams could use him as a defensive lineman, making him a tough matchup with his speed and strength. Redskins, No. 15 overall, CB Greedy Williams, LSU. If the Jets are trading down this far, they are surely getting a haul from Washington that would add to their 6 picks in this year's draft. Instead of going for a new member on their front 7, they shore up a hole at the cornerback position in Williams. Williams is arguably the best corner in the draft, possessing the physical stature and smarts needed to be shut down in the NFL. At 6'2", 185 pounds, Williams ran a 4.37 40-yard dash at the combine, and that just verified his ability to stick with some of the fastest receivers in the game. He has also hauled in 8 interceptions, 6 in 2017 and 2 last season. Over his LSU career, February 28, 2018, Indianapolis, Indiana, USA. New York Jets general manager Mike Maccagnan speaks to the media during the 2018 NFL Combine at the Indianapolis Convention Center. Mandatory credit, Trevor Rishkovsky. USA Today Sports. Trevor Rishkovsky, Ralph Vacchiano, Facebook, Twitter. Archive. The Jets have only 6 picks in the upcoming NFL Draft, and with so many holes on their roster, they'll need to use them wisely. Still early, but here's a look at how those 6 picks could go. First round, No. 3 overall, D.T. Quinnen-Williams, Alabama, August 18, 2018, Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA, Minnesota Vikings quarterback Trevor Seaman, 3, calls a play during the second quarter against Jacksonville Jaguars at U.S. Bank Stadium. Mandatory credit, Bryce Hemmelgarn, USA Today Sports. Bryce Hemmelgarn. The Jets have found their backup quarterback as QB Trevor Seaman signed a one-year deal with the team, his agent Mike Maccagnan confirming via Twitter. Seaman's deal has a $2 million base salary that could reach $3 million with incentives. With veteran QB Josh McCown still undecided as to whether he wants to play next season, the Jets brought in an experienced backup for Sam Darnold now in Seaman to fill out the depth chart. Davis Webb, who was acquired off waivers when the Giants cut him last year, is also under contract for the 2019 season. The 27-year-old wanted a change of scenery as the Vikings were interested in bringing him back for another season to sit behind Kirk Cousins. However, he is now joining Gang Green and provides the Jets with more than just a serviceable option in case something happens to Darnold. August 26, 2017, East Rutherford, NJ, USA, New York Jets acting CEO Christopher Wold Johnson left talks to general manager Mike Maccagnan before a preseason game against the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner, USA Today Sports. Brad Penner, with their quarterback situation in shambles, the Redskins are sniffing around about trading up in the NFL draft, reports Jason LaCanfora of NFL.com. LaCanfora speculates that the play for the Redskins could be to trade from No. 15 to get the Jets pick at No. 3. That would allow them to jump ahead of the Giants at No. 6 and snatch Ohio State QB Dwayne Haskins from them, if he is indeed who the Giants are targeting. Aside from the Giants and Redskins as candidates who could try to deal with the Jets for No. 3. LaCanfora mentions the Broncos and Jaguars, but doubts either would do it. December 4, 2017, Cincinnati, Ohio, USA, Pittsburgh Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell, 26, sits on the bench against the Cincinnati Bengals in the first half at Paul Brown Stadium. Mandatory credit, Aaron Doster, USA Today Sports. Aaron Doster, for the first time in a long time, Le'Veon Bell is truly happy. The new Jets running back, who signed a 4-year, $52.5 million deal with $35 million guaranteed, is ready for a fresh new start in New York while leaving behind some ugly memories in Pittsburgh where he chose to sit out the entire 2019 season. But it was more than just about the money for Bell. While he previously detailed the roller coaster of the last year he had negotiating with the Steelers, the 27-year-old opened up a little more about his experience in Pittsburgh on the field and in the locker room during an interview with Sports Illustrated, particularly how the organization compares with the Jets, from whom he immediately felt a different vibe than he never had with the Steelers. Le'Veon Bell. Charles Leclerc, USA Today Sports. Jets' new RB Le'Veon Bell was under tons of scrutiny last season for holding out from the Steelers, and declining to sign his franchise tag to play in 2018. But that wasn't his initial plan as he headed into the season. In an interview with ESPN's Jeremy Fowler this weekend, Bell said he had every intention to return to Steelers camp during the Week 7 bye. But it looks like Bell actually wanted to return to the team after Week 1 following an exclusive interview with Sports Illustrated. At first I was literally thinking like, I don't want to play camp in Otis because of the hurt in my body and I'm like, I'm not playing, Bell told Sports Illustrated's Jenny Brentes. When Week 1 comes, I'm going to come, but the things that kind of led up to Week 1, I started thinking, I'm not going to play Week 1, after even Week 1, it started to build up and it's not making me feel comfortable. October 21, 2018, East Rutherford, NJ, USA, Minnesota Vikings quarterback Trevor Seaman, 3, smiles during warm-up before game against New York Jets at MetLife Stadium. Mandatory credit, Noah K. Murray, USA Today Sports. Noah K. Murray. While the Jets have been busy this offseason, there are still some areas they must address, such as a backup quarterback to Sam Darnold. While Josh McCown is still undecided on a return for next season, the Jets plan to meet with free agent quarterback Trevor Seaman on Wednesday. SNY's Ralph Bacchiano confirmed. Seaman, 27, spent last season as the backup with the Minnesota Vikings behind Kirk Cousins after he was traded there a year ago by the Broncos. September 10, 2017, Orchard Park, NY, USA. New York Jets tight end Eric Tomlinson, 83, warms up before the game against the Buffalo Bills at New Era Field. Mandatory credit, Timothy T. Ludwig. USA Today Sports. Timothy T. Ludwig. With Le'Veon Bell a new centerpiece in the Jets' offense, the organization brought back two familiar faces to strengthen their blocking schemes Tuesday. New York resigned offensive lineman Brent Cavalli and tight end Eric Tomlinson, who primarily operates as a blocking tight end in the offense. The team also confirmed the signing of tight end Daniel Brown. Tomlinson ended last season on injured reserve after he dropped a weight on his foot. Before that, he made 12 starts and appeared in 15 games, and served as a special teams contributor. He first joined the Jets in 2016 and has played in 36 games total with 16 catches for 193 yards and 1 career touchdown. Chicago Bears tight end Trey Burton celebrates with tight end Daniel Brown after scoring a touchdown against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers during the first half at Soldier Field. Ilker Zachinski, USA Today Sports. The Jets signed former Bears and Ravens tight end Daniel Brown to a contract, according to his agent. Brown, 26, played in 14 games last season but did not record a completion on offense. He spent most of his time on special teams. Since debuting with Baltimore in 2015, Brown has 35 catches for 317 yards and 1 touchdown. New York Jets quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, 14, prepares to throw the ball against the New England Patriots during the first quarter at MetLife Stadium. Brad Penner, Ryan Fitzpatrick's renaissance behind center will bring him back to the AFC East. The QB signed a 2-year, $11 million deal with Miami on Sunday, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter and other reports. Fitzpatrick quarterbacked the Jets for 2 seasons in 2015 and 2016 before heading to Tampa Bay for 2 years. His new contract, though, gives him the chance to face his old team twice a year. It will be his third go-around in the division. He played 4 seasons in Buffalo, December 30, 2018, Baltimore, Maryland, USA, Baltimore Ravens inside linebacker, CJ Mosley, 57, reacts after sacking Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield, not pictured during the second half at M. Mandatory credit, Tommy Gilligan. USA Today Sports. Tommy Gilligan, TheJetsBlog.com. Follow on Twitter. While the Le'Veon Bell signing received the most attention, the biggest financial outlay for the Jets this offseason was the CJ Mosley deal. The former Baltimore Ravens linebacker signed a 5-year contract worth up to $85 million. Will it prove to be worth it though? There's no doubting Mosley's talent, as he's been a Pro Bowler and second-team All-Pro in 4 of his 5 seasons. The Ravens went to the postseason twice in those 5 years, with Mosley anchoring their defense, including an AFC North Division title win in 2018. He has 9 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, and 5 fumble recoveries in his career, so he should provide some impact plays. The Jets are most likely to employ Mosley as the middle linebacker in Greg Williams' new system. In fact, there's a good chance Williams may have identified Mosley as an ideal central cog to install his scheme around. Ideally, he would have had Anthony Barr as well, but that move obviously fell apart at the 11th hour. Another clue as to how important the Jets saw having a player of Mosley's caliber on the team comes from the size of his contract. Le'Veon Bell, 26, mandatory credit, Charles Leclerc. USA Today Sports. Charles Leclerc, New Jets running back Le'Veon Bell had every intention of returning to the Steelers during their Week 7 bye to sign his franchise tender, hit the field several weeks later and play out the rest of the season, believing he had no other choice if he wanted an accrued season in order to hit free agency this year. But in an interview with ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, Bell revealed that he learned from social media that he didn't need to play at all to hit free agency as long as the Steelers didn't tag him again. Once, he confirmed that with his agent, his goal to remain off the field the whole season to preserve his health for more guaranteed money was back in play. That was the biggest mix-up the whole time, Bell told Fowler. I thought I had to sit out until week 10 or else they can tag me again. Around before the bye week, that's when I found out I didn't have to play. October 29, 2017, Orchard Park, NY, USA, Oakland Raiders offensive guard Kelechi Osemele, 70, against the Buffalo Bills at New Era Field. Mandatory credit, Timothy T. Ludwig. USA Today Sports, Timothy T. Ludwig. With the recent flurry of big-name signings, the first major move of the offseason is perhaps being overlooked. The Jets acquired two-time Pro Bowl guard Kelechi Osemele from the Raiders in exchange for a day 3 pick swap. Here's why that move could end up being the most important one the Jets have made this offseason: a change in attitude. Machado Kid joins BNNY 0 hours 0 minutes and 56 seconds. Jacob Carpenter went viral with his take on why he didn't want Manny Machado on the Yankees. Watch more Yankees and Jets takes on BNNY. Nearly 1 month later, Jacob Carpenter's mind hasn't changed. The Machado Kid, who went viral in SNY's video of his reaction to Manny Machado signing with the Padres, is still glad that the star infielder didn't end up with the Yankees. I'm definitely happy that Machado did not sign, Carpenter said while he was an in-studio guest on Baseball Night in New York. Le'Veon Bell, Charles Leclerc, USA Today Sports, Ralph Bacchiano, Facebook, Twitter, Archive. The Jets put their faith in Mike Maccagnan on the day in December when they fired coach Todd Bowles. Ownership was making it clear it believed in the general manager's plan and vision. Christopher Johnson had faith that Maccagnan could carry it out. So armed with nearly $100 million in salary cap space as they headed into free agency, Maccagnan headed into one of the most crucial off-seasons this star-crossed franchise has ever had. He needed to win big. He needed some splashy signings. And he certainly didn't disappoint. New York Jets former running back Curtis Martin enters the stadium for the Professional Football Hall of Enshrinement ceremonies at the Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Charles Leclerc, USA Today Sports. Le'Veon Bell said one of the reasons he joined the Jets was because he idolized Hall of Famer Curtis Martin growing up. And Martin believes Bell has what it takes to follow him to Canton. For a guy like Le'Veon, it's not about, can he make it to the Hall of Fame? He's like an Adrian Peterson-like guy. Those guys, they don't have to play 12, 13, 14 years to make it to the Hall of Fame if they just work hard and take care of business now, Martin said, according to the New York Post. Steve Serby. Le'Veon Bell chose Jets. 0 hours 1 minute and 5 seconds. New York Jets running back Le'Veon Bell explains why deep down he wanted to choose the Jets. Jamal Adams' excellent recruiting also helped. When Le'Veon Bell entered free agency this offseason, he always had the Jets on his list of desired teams. And once GM Mike Maccagnan came calling with the right offer, he knew he had to pull the trigger. The Jets were just kind of the team I had in the back of my mind where I wanted to go, Bell told SNY's Ralph Bacchiano over a conference call after the Jets made the signing official Thursday night. But the numbers Bell agreed to came under heavy scrutiny. The Steelers offered him a 5-year, $70 million deal, but after sitting out a year to keep his body fresh and hopefully increase his value on the market, he agreed to a 4-year, $52.5 million contract with the Jets. New York Jets kicker Chandler Catanzaro makes a field goal as punter Lack Edwards holds the ball during the first half at Raymond James Stadium. Kim Clement, USA Today Sports. The Jets resigned kicker Chandler Catanzaro to replace Pro Bowler Jason Myers, the team announced Friday. Catanzaro, 28, was 16 for 20 on field goals and 30 for 35 on extra points in 13 games with the Carolina Panthers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season. He was 0 for 3 between 40 and 49 yards but made all 3 of his attempts from at least 50 yards. With New York in 2017, Catanzaro made 25 of 30 field goals and converted all 29 extra points. He was 12 for 17 in the 40-yard range and 2 for 2 from beyond 50. November 25, 2018, Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA. Minnesota Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr, 55, reacts after making a play during the third quarter against the Green Bay Packers at U.S. Bank Stadium. Mandatory credit. Harrison Barden, USA Today Sports. Harrison Barden, Anthony Barr got cold feet right after the engagement. He told his agent he would take a deal with the Jets but had immediate regrets. After a quick panic he decided to call off the wedding. It wasn't necessarily physically ill. It wasn't the middle of the night. It was more so when I hung up the phone after saying, "Yeah, I can do New York," my stomach dropped. I kind of got some cold sweats, Barr told NFL Network on Thursday, December 16, 2018. Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Atlanta Falcons cornerback Brian Poole, 34, reacts after an interception against the Arizona Cardinals during the first half at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Mandatory credit. Dale Zanine, USA Today Sports. Dale Zanine. The Jets and cornerback Brian Poole have agreed to a one-year, $3.5 million contract, according to multiple reports. The 26-year-old joins the Jets after spending 3 seasons with the Falcons, who did not tender the restricted free agent. Poole should replace Buster Skrine as the Jets' slot corner after Skrine signed with Chicago, August 17, 2018. Detroit, Michigan, USA. Detroit Lions defensive end Ezekiel Ansah, 94, warms up before a game against the New York Giants at Ford Field. Mandatory credit. Tim Fuller, USA Today Sports. Tim Fuller, Ralph Vacchiano, Facebook, Twitter. Archive. Before free agency even officially began, the Jets had handed out $173 million worth of contracts on 4 new players, and that went with another $51.7 million in deals to bring back 4 of their own. They even tried to hand out another $100 million or so in contracts, before edge rusher Anthony Barr changed his mind and center Matt Parody signed somewhere else. So the Jets have been busy, and there's no doubt that with the additions of running back Le'Veon Bell, linebacker C.J. Mosley and receiver Jamison Crowder, they are better than they were a few days ago. But they're not done yet. They still have some cap room to spend and some holes to fill. Lucky for them, NFL free agency is still really only beginning and there are a bunch of good players left to sign. December 30, 2018, Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Baltimore Ravens inside linebacker, C.J. Mosley, 57, reacts after sacking Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield, not pictured during the second half at M. Mandatory credit. Tommy Gilligan, USA Today Sports. Tommy Gilligan. It doesn't seem as if linebacker C.J. Mosley will be pulling an Anthony Barr. Though the Jets have yet to officially announce the signing of Mosley, they finally announced the Le'Veon Bell signing Thursday evening. Mosley was at the Jets training facility in Florham Park on Thursday as he shared a picture on his Instagram story with "New Beginnings" written on it. Charles Leclerc. The numeric details of Le'Veon Bell's 4-year, $52.5 million deal with the Jets were released on Thursday, and it is safe to say New York got themselves a great deal for one of the most dynamic weapons in the NFL. Breaking it down, Bell will earn $14.5 million for the 2019 season, but will only count for a $8.5 million cap hit because of the $2 million from his signing bonus and $4.5 million roster bonus to go along with a $2 million base salary. His 2-year total, then, comes to $26 million with $11.5 million coming his way while being a $13.5 million cap hit. There is a potential out of his contract in 2021, and it would only be a $4 million cap hit. But to keep Bell from potentially sitting out again, the Jets implemented 2 $3 million training camp reporting bonuses in 2021 and 2022, which comes after the $35 million in guaranteed money has been shelled out. Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins drops back to pass against the New York Jets during the first quarter at MetLife Stadium. Brad Penner, USA Today Sports. Kirk Cousins infamously spurned the Jets last offseason to sign with the Minnesota Vikings. But he's happy his former college teammate, Le'Veon Bell, is playing with New York. Bell, who agreed to a 4-year, $52.5 million deal with the Jets, tweeted how he's happy to be in green and white again, just like his Michigan State days. And Cousins made sure to salute his former teammate. New York Jets running back Isaiah Crowell runs the ball against the Minnesota Vikings during the third quarter at MetLife Stadium. Brad Penner, USA Today Sports. The Jets released running back Isaiah Crowell on Thursday, just days after they reached an agreement with free agent Le'Veon Bell, the team announced. The Jets saved $3 million in cap space by cutting Crowell. However, Crowell's contract counts for $2 million in dead cap space for 2019. The 26-year-old Crowell, who signed a 3-year, $12 million with New York last offseason, totaled 685 rushing yards, 152 receiving yards and 6 rushing touchdowns in 13 games last year. December 31, 2017, Foxborough, MA, USA. New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady, 12, is sacked by New York Jets nose tackle Steve McClendon, 99, during the second half at Gillette Stadium. Mandatory credit, Brian Fluharty, USA Today Sports. Brian Fluharty, as they've added a bunch of potential game-changing external free agents, the Jets have also been bringing back plenty of their own. The latest is nose tackle Steve McClendon. The Jets announced the deal with the 33-year-old McClendon, who will receive a 1-year deal worth $2.5 million that can max out at $3.5 million, reports Manish Mehta of the New York Daily News. McClendon, who has been with the Jets since 2016, has played in all 16 games each of the last 2 seasons. In 2018, he started 14 games and had 34 total tackles. Game plan for Le'Veon Bell: 0 hours 0 minutes and 59 seconds. The Jets got Le'Veon Bell as a big piece for Sam Darnold. With a lot of mileage on him from Pittsburgh, will NY have Bell on a snap count? Le'Veon Bell made his decision to come to the Jets late Tuesday night, as GM Mike Maccagnan got the man he wanted. Bell is expected to be a major impact for the offense, even with a full year of sitting out in 2018, but how should the Jets deploy them? Bell got a heavy workload while in Pittsburgh, but the Jets may not want to use him the same way to make sure his body and performance hold up through the 4-year contract. The SNY Jets crew discusses how Bell will impact the Jets this season, and if a pitch count is warranted for head coach Adam Gase to use. New York Jets kicker Jason Myers kicks a field goal during the first half against the Tennessee Titans at Nissan Stadium. Christopher Hayne-Winkle, USA Today Sports. 2 special teams Pro Bowlers won't be returning to the Jets this year. Jason Myers, who made the Pro Bowl in 2018, posted a thank you message to Jets fans Wednesday afternoon, and SNY's Ralph Vacchiano reports that Myers indeed isn't expected to return to the Jets. Additionally, the Jets are not expected to re-sign return specialist Andre Roberts, according to the Daily News. March 3, 2019, Indianapolis, Indiana, USA. Ohio State defensive lineman Nick Bosa, DL25, goes through workout drills during the 2019 NFL Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium. Mandatory credit, Brian Spurlock, USA Today Sports. Brian Spurlock. Before the Odell Beckham Jr. trade madness and the Jets finally landing Le'Veon Bell on Tuesday night, the 49ers made a trade of their own for OLBD Ford, and with that trade, the Jets may have just won the Nick Bosa sweepstakes. Bosa is arguably the best defensive end in an NFL draft class that is stacked with many talented edge rushers. He is certainly on the Jets' radar to take at No. 3 overall, but the 49ers, like many others, have him on their big board as well.